The 2011 ASP World Tour of Surfing has reached round 3 of the 11-stop World Championship race. The top 32 surfers in the world have come to Brazil for the Billabong Rio Pro.
Over the years, we've all been to different places, you know, we're in Batuba, Florianópolis, Saquarema, all the different venues, you know. It's been 10 years since we've been back here in Rio, and it's good to come back.
We have the beach, and then we have the whole city just right behind, so it's nice to have these two things like so close.
The waves are really fun, and the water's warm. I actually like the place a lot.
It's a happy city for sure.
Surfing's really big here in Brazil. The fans all wait outside the hotel.
Pretty crazy over here, pretty fanatical, basically.
High five, high five, high five!
Brazil has recently produced a crop of some of the most talented surfers on the World Tour. Surfers who will challenge for a world title crown.
It's going to be exciting to watch those guys, and you know, I think they're definitely going to be dangerous, and they're going to have tremendous support from the home crowd.
You know, when the crowd are roaring against you, it's an awful feeling.
If someone's cheering for someone else, I sort of just take it on board as if they're cheering for me, you know.
10 times world champion Kelly Slater comes into the contest ranked #1 in the world.
He's surfing at such a high level right now. He's going to be really hard to beat. He's so smart and so competitive. You know, he's here to win.
Actually, I'm a better surfer now than when I was 20. Everyone's waiting for me to quit and to get too old, and that's what they have in their mind, not me, you know.
Joel Parkinson is one of the favorites to win the Rio Pro. He's currently ranked #2 in the world after a sensational start to the year, having been injured for most of 2010.
For probably a month, I didn't think I'd walk or run or surf. I just was worried, you know, and just started to come back, and I guess now it's back.
A win at the second event on the World Tour at Bells Beach saw Parkinson continue a strong start to the year.
Sometimes the break does wonders. I came out of the gates and I felt better than ever.
The beach at Arpoador lies under the gaze of mountainside favelas and millionaire beachfront condos. This is the left breaking wave, reeling from across the rocky headland point, where the early rounds of the contest will take place.
It's a really good breaking left and makes it a bit easier or more opportunity for the surfers to be able to get a lot of waves, so they'll get more scores. So all round that makes a better event.
It's actually been really fun this morning in the free surf, but the wind's just come up.
It's like offshore a second ago, and now it's like howling onshore, so yeah, we'll see what happens.
Last year's event winner, Brazilian Jadson Andre, gets the contest going and finds one of the few barrels on offer. Taj Burrow earns the highest heat total of the day with an explosive backhand attack, gaining a 16.83 from a possible 20.
It was kind of scary for a second there, right when they pulled the trigger and decided to run the event this morning. The wind just started howling into the lefts, but during my heat it cleaned up heaps, and I got 2 fun ones at the start, so I'm happy.
The regular footers weren't going to be held back, a point proved by a 2-time world champ Mick Fanny as he set about his own assault on the lefts.
It was tricky to try and find the right one out there, but then guys that were doing turns back to back were getting scores, so just try to concentrate on that. They weren't the biggest waves, but they just allowed 3 turns straight away. what, you're going to better take care of him on the way down. Huh?
Going out's all right. It's coming in's going to be the hassle.
So many surf fans here. They're so stoked, you know. They're all really happy and really nice, but it's just it's a little overwhelming.
Slater unleashed 2 furious tail-drifting backhand turns to notch up the day's highest single-wave score of 9.00. And this after nearly missing the start of his heat.
It took you a minute to get going in that heat, but once you did, oh boy, that 9.
I knew there were some good ones down the end, and I was just going to be patient and wait for them. And you can clearly see the better waves when they come, but it wasn't a good start, but I had a pretty good finish.
Day 1 of the Billabong Rio Pro ends on a performance high note, but with a dropping swell. The second day of contest will give the surfers a chance to make some progression deeper into the rounds, and to chase those crucial ranking points.
It seems to not be bringing as much wind today, so we'll have a good day, I think.
CJ Hobgood is an ex-world champion with a solid heat strategy. He also shows that progression isn't just the reserve of the rookies.
A big statement here, goes for the lean grab, and he appears.
That's what makes those heats fun to surf, and that's exciting to watch. You know, I just have so much respect for Julian and all these young kids because I mean they can come back so easy. I mean they have so many moves in the artillery, and Julian did one turn. I was like, wow.
Wilson trying to answer back, Eric.
Whoa, what a beautiful maneuver. That's views cool.
Joe Parkinson grew up along Queensland's Gold Coast, a stretch of coastline with more than its fair share of right-hander waves. The Arpoador lefts would present the kind of challenge Parkinson relishes.
Funny beach break this one, so you know, it's kind of a dogfight, you know, to try and get a good wave. And
sometimes in competition, you come up against a friend, not a foe. And this is what happened when Chris Davidson drew fellow Aussie Josh Kerr.
He's not the best loser ever. Hopefully I don't have bricks under my pillow or something like that when I try and put my head down.
One of the deadliest performances of the early rounds was put in by Adam Melling as he took out Brazilian favorite Alejo Nunes.
That was amazing. Gets it up there one more time. Finishes this off. It's going to be a huge score, and that he does.
But one Brazilian who wasn't going to give way was Adriano de Souza. The 24-year-old from a favela in Sao Paulo came into the Rio Pro ranked 4 in the world.
Adriano de Souza is on a roll. Big hack out the back, and now he's going to climb through that floating section on the beach.
He stormed through his heat with one of the highest scores of the event so far, a 16.43.
Yeah, hopefully make a good contest this year. Back on track, like in 2009 I got second, so yeah, just keep going.
De Souza's hunger to win comes from deep within his upbringing, and it's a value he shares with other Brazilian surfers. So what is it that makes him so different from other nation surfers?
Most of the talents for sports, it came from favela, you know? Like Adriano, he's from favela in São Paulo, Guarujá, and now he's the best surfer from Brazil, you know?
As a kid, kind of growing up and doing the contests in Australia, we'd have a few Brazilians come over and you'd surf heats against him and you'd be like, what is this guy doing? Like, he's a psycho. And we didn't really understand that was like kind of their background, and they are surfing to live. I think you really get an understanding of that when you come here and you see the way of life here.
Right on the mountain beside the beach at Arpoador nestles one of Rio's favelas. 70,000 people are crammed into these slum dwellings. Recently, the favela has gone through a rehabilitation to make it a safer place. Drugs were cleared out, and the violent gangs that came with it soon disappeared. Yet, for kids here, this is a challenging neighborhood to grow up in.
It's a huge battle to stay away from crime and drug trafficking. And when they see surfers like Taj come up here and they hear his story, it motivates them to keep going with the surfing, and that's what basically keeps them away from crime.
Quite an eye-opener, for sure. I've never seen anything like it.
One of the success stories of this favela is the surf club, which houses 120 youngsters, many of whom are orphaned, having lost relatives in the drugs wars.
Hey, how are you?
Good? So the kids are watching some surf because there are no waves today in the ocean.
Oh yeah, I know. Me too. I went bowling
sport in all countries around the world saves a lot of kids. These kids that kind of have nothing, and sport is a way, you know, to a career and a job and, you know, a better life.
Whenever there's waves, the kids make their way down through the windy streets and alleyways to the beach.
You know, that's great to give the kids that opportunity to be able to go out and surf and enjoy the ocean and have a good time with it.
In a way, they could be, you know, more hungry for winning than a lot of us that haven't come from, you know, poverty like that.
It's really cool to see the guys getting stoked on surfing, you know. It means a lot to us, you know, to see them off the streets and rather in the water than doing crime.
Levanta a cabeça pro cachorro, sem olhar pra câmera.
Back at the contest site, the Rio Pro is progressing into the later rounds.
I'm happy it's on the left. Looks really fast though, so you got to kind of pick the slower ones from what I've seen, so I can try and fit some turns in.
On his backhand, off the bottom, here comes a big hack off the top. Second move, he is looking insane right there.
Going right on the nice little wave right here. Beautiful floater. Let's see if he can come down. He does off that.
We do have Bobby Martinez on wave number 4. Cracks it high off the top. Winds up for another nice snap. One last closeout finishing move. And he is on fire.
And his round 4 heat, Tasborough put on the kind of performance that will take to win this event.
Solid one. We'll catch up to him as he goes up to the top for a big float. Winds up off the bottom, cracks it off the top. A beautiful wave that he's picked there.
Yeah, to try and maintain confidence is a tough one for me. You know, I've been on tour long enough, and I know I can beat everyone on the tour. And I just, you know, I'm trying to gain a sense of, you know, ownership.
Joe Parkinson continued his form with the highest single wave score of the entire event, a 9.73 out of 10, to win his heat and advance directly to the quarterfinals.
I guess it's a good thing that I had that, and I feel good again. Now I'm back. I feel like my heat strategies are good. My preparations are good.
Defending champion Jadson Andre is the 22-year-old Brazilian in his second year on the Elite World Tour. He faced Tahitian charger Michel Perez, who smashed his waves to take the win with a 19.10.
Jadson is a really tough competitor, and you never know what he can do. And so I was just like, well, I need 2 really big scores.
Kelly Slater came up against fellow American Bobby Martinez in their round 3 heat. In a tense heat, Slater took an early lead by finding one of the elusive barrels. But it was Martinez's impressive aerial game that stole the show. He added a barrel on his next wave and took the win, eliminating the current world champion.
And coming out, comes around that section, and he's got to finish this wave off to better his score line. What an upset. Kelly Slater not able to get his score.
I wasn't out of sync, but I definitely wasn't in sync, and it's kind of just the way it goes. It's the worst result I've had in a year. Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
You are new hero in Rio de Janeiro.
Bobby.
I don't have as many fans as him, but he's the best we've ever seen, and I see why they're fans. You know, I respect that and just go and do my best.
By this point, the contest saw some of the heavyweights drop as Mick Fanning and Jordy Smith also got knocked out by lower seeds.
Nice little grab rail air.
He's like coming second in the world right now, so it's a, you know, huge accomplishment for me just to get past him in this round.
And so ended day 3 of the Billabong Rio Pro. The scene was now set for a final day which would crown a new event champion. One of the most consistent surfers on tour is Australian B. Durbridge. He faced Josh Kerr in the quarterfinal.
There's an alley-oop from Josh Kerr.
It was Durbridge's patience on the left that got him through.
It's too low tide, I think, for those rights, and I knew Josh was going to surf there, so I just went out with a plan to get 2 good scores and then go sit on him. If he did get a wave, I'd block him on any section because he can get 10s for one air.
Taj Burrow met Slater nemesis Bobby Martinez in a tight quarterfinal.
Here we go, we've got Taj Burrow. Big snap off the top, clean bottom turn.
In the end, only a couple of points separated the two men, but it was Burrow who progressed to the semifinal. His 9.33, one of the highlights.
I was trying not to be too emotional in that heat because I've been pretty pissed off after losing to Bobby at Bells. I was just trying to compose myself because I really wanted to beat him.
Joel Parkinson was looking for the points to take him to the top of the world ranking here in Rio.
Live action, Joel Parkinson pulling right into the barrel on his backhand. Looks like he's going to make it out nice and clean. Carves the next section off.
He came up against Jeremy Flores, who was coming into form after a bad knee injury had him sidelined in the early season.
Time is going to wind out, and a great congratulations to Jeremy Flores, because Jeremy put on quite a show here.
Against Joel Parkinson, you can't make any mistake. You got to be surfing well, and you got to be on the right waves.
The last quarterfinal would pitch crowd favorite Adriano de Souza against Australian goofy footer Owen Wright. This heat would prove to be one of the talking points of the whole event. Wright started explosively, laying down the challenge, but de Souza rose to it with an aerial attack and a massive backhand floater. By the dying seconds, he left Wright needing a 6.74 to take the win.
Really nice, does a nice snap right there to set up this inside section. As it comes in, he's going to do a nice...
Wright lands a potentially high-scoring aerial maneuver as the heat ends. And both surfers leave the water not knowing who's won. The decision is in the hands of the judges. They make it back to the competitors' area, still waiting for Wright's last wave score.
6!
6!
Waiting for the next score.
The scores dropped, showing 6.60. Just not enough for Wright to win.
Was a bit underdone there with the judging. You know, you can't take out the fact that there's a huge crowd here and huge support for Adriano. At the end of the day, surfing's surfing. It doesn't matter what the crowd does. It's all the best to Adriano. I know there's plenty of support here for him, so all the best.
The first semi-final pitted Taj Burrow against Jeremy Flores. Although Flores looked strong, he couldn't find too many sections. Burrow continued his high-scoring run and went through to the final. Beat Durbridge would face a huge task in the semi-final, to take on Adriano de Souza.
Definitely the Brazilians, they're so fired up when you have a heat against them, and you got to match them with their intensity, because they'll paddle all over you and get all the waves, and I know I really look forward to having a heat with Adriano, because I know it's going to be a good one and I'm going to have to fight to the end, and it's going to be a battle.
But deteriorating wave conditions, good waves just didn't come for Durbridge, while de Souza seemed to unlock some small wave sections. It was over for Durbridge, while a fired-up de Souza took one more step toward his dream.
Yeah, it's going to be a good final between Adriano and Taj now. Taj definitely been an informed surfer all event, but the crowd's just going to be just going for him, and if he doesn't, I'm leaving the scaffolding because he might get ripped down.
Taj Burrow had ripped his way through this contest with some of the best backhand attacks seen at Barra. Adriano de Souza had also been a standout, fighting off the very best in the world. With the final prize in sight, the two surfers paddled out. De Souza looking to block out the intense pressure and the physical closeness of his fans.
Hey, here's Taj Burrow.
Burrow made a superb start with a score of 7, looking to knock the wind out of de Souza's sails and dampening spirits on the beach. But this only seemed to fire de Souza on as he made a flurry of good scoring waves. A 6.5 was followed by an 8.
Vertical snap, second hack off the top, third move over the closeout.
Adriano trying to really put the pressure on Taj right now.
Then came even more backup, with de Souza finding all the best ones and nailing a 7.63. By midway, his position already looked unassailable.
Reform, he's pretty far out of the contest area looking there, but boy, the reaction from the crowd is definitely helping him out right now.
For Burrow, it looked like an uphill task, and errors in the water were matched with partisan cheers on the beach.
Down, and a reaction from the crowd on the fall of Taj Burrow as well.
Good sized wave right here. He gets a nice
fall after fall was met with ever louder cheers. Burrow was left needing too much too late.
I think the clock's against him.
D'Souza had surfed too strongly early on in the heat and had room to spare.
Adriano D'Souza, Mina Nino, is the winner of the Billabong Rio Pro.
The victory was his. The kid from the favela, the one for whom they chant his name, Minorino, had risen to the summit.
Taking the win and taking the lead on the world title race.
I'm pretty devastated right now, but eventually I'll be able to smile about it. 2 seconds is good, but yeah, I didn't want to lose that one.
It's no words to say right now, and I want to say thank you so much from all my fans down the beach right now, like to the beginning to the end. Stay with me.
The richest prize in the history of Brazilian surfing was his, and more, much more. He rises to the very top to become the #1 ranked surfer in the world, the first Brazilian ever to do so.
Let's hear it for Adriano D'Souza.
Turn the street signs. It's enough.